Hello and welcome to a very special release that I've been really looking forward to, Europa Universalis V. And I gotta say, I already spent quite a while in the game, over 100 hours. But I also gotta say, I still feel like I'm in the tutorial. So yeah, I'm not a pro player yet, but I do got the privilege to show you the game. And I, for myself, chose to use this opportunity to show you as much of the game as I can. This video is sponsored by Paradox Interactive, so thanks to them. They even provided me with a code. Works in the Paradox store on any Paradox games. If you want to support the channel, feel free to use it. And best of all, for today's video, they never set me a limit how long I can make this video. So I will try my best to give you the longest EU5 episode I can make out of this. And we are gonna do this, very cool artwork by the way, with the beautiful Duchy of Austria. Because I personally think they're a very cool nation to show a lot of the things in the game. And there is absolutely no personal reason why I'm playing this nation. No, just mechanics, of course. And yeah, without any further ado, I will not be playing Iron Man, and there are no achievements yet, because I'm playing currently an early version, so this is not gonna be the release version. It is a very finished version, but this is not the release version yet, so be cautious about that. But without further ado, let's go. This is the first new release of a game of this scale on my channel. So what I will be doing right now is start with a bit of a tutorial on how the game works. If you're not interested in that and just want to see funny Austrian men doing funny Austria things, I will put a timestamp down so you can skip that guide. For everyone else, I will just do a quick tutorial to show off the basics, and then later on we just do a normal chaotic Florius video where I just explain when something is important and not talk about every single mechanic all the time. So to start off, you might recognize a lot of the things from Paradox games, like the date, the speed, paused or unpaused, all pretty forward. Here on the right, you have a little bit of your, let's say, administrative tools. They're not important for your nation per se, but you get infos here, like the ledger, searching provinces or other things, questions you have about the game, like a huge Europedia where you can search about a lot of things. Later on, very important, you can automate a lot of things, and I will go through this list in a bit. General hints, your agenda, basically giving you some ideas on what to do, and the menu. I know, crazy. And from EU4 players, you might already know the outliner, just showing you all the important things going on in your nation really quick. What is different now is map modes. There are down here, there are a lot of map modes, and they appear when you go down. There's a lot of map modes. I will not go into detail right now about all of them. I will just bring them up when we need them. Well, it's also not new, but at the same time also is, because I will compare this a bit to EU4, even though this game does play different, but also has the same soul. You will see in a bit. Estates, they are over here, and you should keep them happy, especially the nobility, because they have a lot of estate power right now, and that kind of plays into how fast they rebel. They have 50% power, meaning really fast, okay? While the peasants only have 6% power. So they're not gonna rebel fast, even if I make them very angry right now. Here at the end, you can basically see a good pie chart of all the power, and right now we don't have a lot of crown power, and the nobility has a lot of power. One of our first things is to increase our crown power, because there's a lot of modifiers playing into crown power. Most importantly, in my opinion, trade income and some other modifiers not helping right now because we're under 25% crown power is tax efficiency, change policy cost, that hurts a bit, but it's not too bad. Efficiency of our cabinet, that is actually bad. I will show you in a second what the cabinet is, but that is basically the replacement for our mana points, so that we kind of need this to be efficient. Diplomatic reputation hurts a bit for Austria, but we should be able to handle this, and some other stuff. We will fix this soon. I don't want to go too much in depth, which I already did anyways. Anyways, we can click on our ruler and we see our ruler, which now has a spouse. So there's a little bit of Crusader kings in this game now too. You actually have a ruler that you can marry and that can have multiple kids. And it's kind of important if you want to keep your dynasty. But more about that later. If we click on a flag, we open the first menu over here, which is the government. And there is a lot of things to look about here, like moving capital, form new nations. Pretty straightforward what it does. We can also open the HRE panel over here, which, you know, not interesting for us, but you might already spot we are very likely to be the next emperor. Because in this new start date, 1337, happen, we are not the emperor yet. There is a lot to do for Austria and a lot of potential, and we're not the size you might remember. Next, the estates, which are very different, but at the same time kinda similar to what you used from EU4. So there's still estate privileges, it still gives them power, but it's not like when you give an estate way too much, it is automatically a bad thing. Right now with the nobility, it very much is, because of a lot of things holding up the power, and I get some debuffs from them being so strong. But on the other hand, the burghers are super weak, already have a good amount of privileges, and I will be giving them way more. And talking about giving privileges, let's give some privileges. Firstly, to myself, the crown, I will be giving diplomatic traditions, just because it makes a lot of sense for me to have this. I'm Austria, I'll try to play a lot in the HRE, I want a lot of allies, I want a lot of puppets, you will see what I mean with that in a second. So this is super good. And then the thing you will always take, at least as a monarchy, is autocracy. Because it gives you free crown power, and that's basically it. You just really want crown power. Trust me, crown power is good. Will now take some time to implement, but that is now cooking. To my nobility, I will not change anything. If I would change anything here, we will lose a lot of stability. 171. You have to understand, in this game, stability goes from 100 to -100. So if I would have 100 stability and I take away this privilege, I would be at -71. That is bad. We can make this cheaper later by weakening the nobility a bit and doing some other stuff with our nation values, but more about it when we get there. Clergy, what I like a lot here is this for monthly progress towards centralization. Just keep that in the head for a little bit when it comes to values, but centralization is super good. So everything that goes to decentralized, I will disencourage, and everything that goes to centralized, I will take very much. And as Austria, we start very decentralized, so we kind of need to push ourselves into a direction where we get centralized. Burghers, super important down here. Urban development grants, giving us monthly development. Once again, also a monthly modifier for our values. Trust me, innovative is also very good. So I will be taking this. Would love to give the burghers more, but you're starting to see that the nobility is a bit angry with me, and they grow really fast with the anger. So last thing I will do is go to my commoners, which is basically my peasants, and take away communal lands. Or the thing I said before, decentralization progress. And 0.2 is a lot. That is actually a lot. I will be taking this away, losing me some stability, minus 40% estate satisfaction. That is a lot. But as I said before, they have 6% power. Next, the parliament. This is not important yet. The parliament happens every 5 years. Let me double check that with my calculator. Yes, it is indeed 5 years. Already 29 have passed at the start of the game, so in 2 years we have a parliament. And you can do a lot of things with this. Most importantly, at the beginning of a game, changing laws, which we will go into a second, and getting war goals. The parliament will be your main source of war goals. There's other nations, like the Byzantine Empire, which still has cores left in their old land, and even some uncored land over here, so they can fabricate for these war goals. But if you're like me, Austria, and don't have any old cores anywhere, you can't really just make a spy network like in EU4 and go for that land. You either have to use your parliament or find another war goal and then just take land, which is more expensive. But yeah, it doesn't work like this anymore. At the beginning, it sounds really bad, but I gotta say, how the game works now, it is actually not that bad. You find a lot of other ways to get war goals. You have your parliament. I mean, as Austria, we are surrounded by bigger nations. There's even like a debate that we'll just be attacked anyways. And a defensive war is a justified war, so we could just take land that way. Next, cabinet. Currently, we have 2 cabinet seats because that's the base value. And we have our reduced cabinet efficiency from low crown power. As I said before, the cabinet is the main replacement for mana points in EU4. I love the change. This change feels very good. It is more of a Crusader Kings based system, yes, but it fits very good. And it's a very nice limitation. What you will notice with the game, stuff feels less limited now by just made up numbers and more limited by your capabilities to handle your nation. And this is one of these features that really play nicely into this. And what I also love about this game, I know I'm shilling this game way too much right now, but I genuinely do like it, and I'm just taking the sponsor money free on top, is small things that you don't need to know, but if you know, they make you that much better in the game. If I just choose someone from my dynasty to be in the cabinet, I get more crown authority, which this candidate here is very good for. Good old Otto, my younger brother, actually has good stats, by the way, and you might recognize the old mana system here with admin, dip, and military. Very good candidate for an cabinet member, and someone else who is capable, maybe like this one over here, who's more capable in admin and dip. And now we can send them out to do things for our nation. There's something the game very much recommends up here, to to integrate core land, which we should do over here, because we have these bits of land over here which are not cored. I personally think that's a bit of a noob trap, because it takes up your cabinet for a good amount of time, that we should use it for something else. So we'll show you another trick for that in a second, or minute. And I will be using my first chancellor to change my social values and promote centralization. You already see a teaser why I like it. Crown power, super good. And proximity cost. I hate to bombard you with modifiers right now, but this one is huge. I'll just randomly throw this in right now because it came up. You now have control over your nation, spreading out from your capital. So you see Vienna is under 100% control right now, meaning we get everything out of it. But the more we go away, the less influence we have. So if I would build up right now a big city over here, I would have very little from that city because it's far away from my capital. So the obvious strat for the beginning of the game, and I will be doing that once we start playing, is to build near your capital. But stuff like the proximity cost modifier makes it easier for these provinces to get more maximum control. You see here the proximity is the limiting factor right now. I hope that was a very fast guide on that. And my other dude, jumping back to my chancellors, actually I'm gonna flip this up. I'm gonna use the one with military skill to give me legitimacy, because I really want legitimacy for the beginning. And my other dude I'm gonna use for centralization. There we go. Next, laws. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna go too deep into this. Your nation has different laws. They have different impacts. Like right now, the game is telling me I don't have a law yet for precious metals. And if you don't have a law yet, you just need to pay money. If you do have a law, it costs this ability to change. That's why we're gonna use the parliament to change laws. Anyways, giving us different options to either allow unlimited exports of gold and silver or ban the exports. For the beginning, when this is a bit limited and we can make a lot of money with silver itself, because we do have a lot of silver as Austria, I like to ban it. And then later on, I relax it a bit. But yeah, for now we'll ban it. We also get more of minting. Minting is super strong in the early game, so I will be doing that. Another law I want to change is all the way down the distribution of power law, because right now we have traditional distribution of power and we might get legitimacy, but you can also spot decentralization gain, that is bad, and less crown power, also bad. What I will change and why I will talk about later when we call the first parliament, but yeah, this is a bit of a priority. We need to change that. There's some other stuff we can change, like the aristocratic court. Once again, we talk later about that when we get there. I try to make a very fast guide about this so we can get to the main part of the video, but at the same time I try to give like a brief overview of everything. Not too much in detail because that's too much, but then you can maybe watch me and follow me a bit better how this game works. Anyways, social values, a lot of modifiers. These are super important because they kind of show, as it already says, the values of your nation, and they give you buffs. Basically, those are the new idea groups. But instead of like locking in bonuses, you can influence them via, as you saw before, estate privileges, even some choices you do, or using your councillors to push you into one direction. Right now, you see we're super decentralized, and the bonus for that is not that good. The estates like us a bit more. I mean, loyal subjects is nice, but compared to all the other stuff I get in centralized, this is just way better. So most playthroughs, I just say go down centralized. But I gotta say, for the rest, it feels a bit more what you want to do. Like traditionalist, you have happy estates, you have more cultural tradition, which is good. Increasing your stability is cheaper, which is also nice. But then you have innovative, which is good for institutions, better for culture influence, compared to over here, culture tradition. Yeah, those are two different things. And max literacy, which is also super good. And this goes through the entire thing here. Once again, I will not go into everything. I will just talk about the things I will change when we change them. But what I can tease is that I will try to go away from aristocracy, because it does make the nobles way stronger and it makes the court more expensive, and go more towards plurocracy, making the burghers stronger, but having also a lot of nice modifiers, like less court cost. And I need you to understand that court cost is not what it might seem, a small cost of my court. No, this impacts how much of the tax base is expected to be cost of the court. That is a lot. That is percentage of our entire tax base gone. So yeah, we want to reduce the court cost. This is way more than you might think. It surprised me how much this is, because it sounds like a very cute modifier. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a bit more court cost. Don't. It is more than you might think. Next, economy. What we have here is beautiful sliders. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I will just put down my maintenance, which, I mean, I don't have a standing army yet. I have forts, so I will reduce that. And I will get my stability up. I will get my court cost up. And now you might see where this modifier plays into right here. Yup. Anyways, I want this super high right now because we need legitimacy and we need stability. If I hold our legitimacy, it gives us crown power. So if we have 100% legitimacy, we get 10% more crown power, which is super good. On the other hand, stability is super important for promoting our our pops, which basically means promoting our peasants down here to soldiers, laborers, burghers, clerics, or even nobility. And especially at the beginning of the game, where we'll focus on one city, having more promotion speed is important. Even more so if you think about the first event we will have, the plague. A lot of people will disappear, and not just peasants. So yeah, this is a super good modifier. The first thing I always try to do is to get my legitimacy all the way up, to get my stability all the way up. This over here you can just automate. There is some min-maxing in here, but especially as a casual like me, or if you just start playing the game, just do that. I mean, you can even just automate over here the entire balance, and I will come back to automation to explain it, but I want to show what you can automate before I show you how to automate it. The market is also quite interesting. I will not go into it too much because the interface is a bit confusing and it's not that important. The only important thing right now here is that we want to create our own market. We can just click this and then create a market in Vienna, which I will do, mainly for the reason that we are quite far out from our market center and already get a big debuff for transportation. The other problem right now is food. The main reason I will not be doing a market right now is food. There is not enough food in Austria right now to supply my market. And yes, the food distribution is in the market. You have market food where basically all the surplus of the produced food will be put into, and if there isn't enough, there will be food imported, which is super expensive. So if you want to go bankrupt really fast as Austria, build a market day one before building up more food. We want our own market, TLDR, so we can make better trades, which I will go into once we have our own market, but for now we're not ready for that. So we'll be skipping trades right now. They are automated for now, which is completely fine with me. There's even a very nice system where you can lock your own trades and then AI doesn't use them anymore and they just stay around, while the free trade capacity is still being used to get new trades. So automation is super nice in this case because you can do your own manual things and lock them in, but around that the AI will still automate everything, which is, you know, super useful. You don't have to think about it all the time, and your trade capacity might change a lot depending on how much people work in your market centers. Could be a plague and then it reduces and then it increases again. It's just nice to see that something in the background is taking care of that. Anyways, let's go to something super not complicated, production. Yeah, here you can build buildings. I know, crazy. See the prices of your goods in your market, because here the goods are defined by the prices in the markets and then trade like in Victoria 3, quote unquote, between the markets, and that's how you can make big profits from one market to another. In goods you also have a very good thing called the RGO builder, where it recommends you the most profitable RGO to upgrade, and every time you click this it starts building this. Funnily enough, right now it says wheat over here. That's one of the things I wanted to build up anyways, so I agree, let's build that. We need more food, as I said, so yeah, we want to produce more wheat. Same over here, by the way. Gensendorf, produce wheat. I will mostly not be using the buildings over here when I build in cities, because you can just click on the cities, click on a state you want to build in, and then sort by profitability in the city here, which in the early game is way nicer to do. Later on, when you get more and more land, I will be doing less of that. But the micro is super nice in the early game. Just so you know, there's different ways to do this. And food is just giving you an interface, how much food is produced where, and the consumption. But you can also very easily see this over here, where Vienna is a food consumer, and Turin an der Donau, which is next to it, is a food producer. Just to say it once, by the way, RGOs are the resource gathering operations, which is your base production of things on the land. So this is better to do in rural lands, and it is less efficient in cities or towns. So these food producing provinces over here, I will not turn into towns because, you know, they produce food better when it's not a town. While Vienna, as a city, is more into turning RGOs, like over here wool, into cloth with a spinner's guild. Or very profitable for Austria, the jeweler, turning silver and pearls right now. I will change it to gems later because we have gems in Salzburg, which we don't own yet, but I will own this as soon as I can, into jewelry. As I said, very profitable for us. I will go deep into this industry, but not now. And because this is already taking way too long and I'm recording for 40 minutes, the rest that is still important but not that important, I will just speed up with society, giving you your cultures breakdown, basically the cultures that live within your nation and how you accept them, like the Nubian Bavarian being our main culture. I can even show it on the map mode. Over here, primary culture, very accepted. We have Slovene, which is 9% of our nation, more to the south. We are okay with them. They don't hate us, we don't hate them, but they are also not that accepted. They're just tolerated. Southern Bavarian, we could actually just accept because it's super cheap. We like them, they like us, meaning the cost for accepting it is 0.15. I will just do that right now. In comparison to Slovene, it would cost us 1.5 instead of 0.15. So this is not worth accepting. It would just bring us over the limit, but Southern Bavarian is fine. I don't mind that. There's other cultures over here that we could accept, but yeah, that's a waste of prestige right now, so I will not do that. And what I mean with that, I will show you in a second. We also have arts of works, which are not important right now to mention. Just know that they exist. They're passively produced by artists, and they have nice modifiers, especially in cultural tradition. So they're good to have, but take a while to make. Religion is, I mean, it's religion. I will not go too deep into this. This is actually not that important. If we're Catholic, there's nothing we can really do here yet. Sometimes we can interact with the Pope, but yeah, Catholicism feels very passive, so I will not be caring about this. And people just chose our people, where they live, what they do, how much they like us. The uprisings, possible uprisings right now filtered for has progress and only rebels. Yeah, there's only one over here because we don't accept the culture, which, you know, is to be accepted at Angry. The dynasties within our nation and all the characters. Pretty straightforward. Diplomacy, yeah, that's our diplomacy. I know, crazy. We don't really have any diplomacy right now. The only thing we know is that we hate Bavaria, and that's it. That's basically it. We just hate Bavaria. You also see your diplomatic capacity over here, which will play an important role with alliances and with puppets, and diplomatic reputation. Once again, it doesn't really tell you here, but it is a super nice modifier for other nations to like you. Plus, I'm pretty sure there's an impact on the aggressive expansion, or as it's called here, antagonism. There's also organizations, which for us most importantly is the Catholic Church and the Holy Roman Empire. The rest, yeah, we don't really care about that. And those two we can interact down here from the beginning, so I will never click this again. This button, it does not exist for me. As for actions, this is kinda nice, giving you a general overview who you can ally right now. I would say I would be interested in an alliance with Brandenburg, so I'll be spending 1 diplomat point over here. So these over here are now the diplomats, generating over time, so you don't have dudes anymore like in EU4 going around. You have a pool of points and you can invest them over time, which I actually don't mind the system. So I used 1 point, now we're down to 4. Made an alliance. I might also ally the other electors in the HRE, like you, and Cologne seeming to be the strongest, you, but I don't want to use up too much of my points, so that is that. Military, we will talk later about. Let's go forward. Geopolitics, yeah, this is nice, and we will never use this again, not as Austria. You need it for sending out explorers, you manage your colonies, you can look into your provinces, but to be fair, I never use this. There is some nice stuff in here, but not important for us. And lastly, and very importantly, research and the ages. First, talking about the ages, this is kind of similar how you know it. Institutions, research is very different though. The every age, which you see portrayed over here, and when it ends, which the Age of Tradition will end very soon, you unlock new institutions, which when you embrace them, let me show you, unlock their research paths. So in the first age, we are basically nearly everywhere done, except with organized religion, so I'm gonna start that, and meritocracy, which is something that will spawn in Asia, so we will not have this for quite a while. Yes, there is an institution just for the eastern parts, that is super nice by the way, and over here, interesting for the next age, is all of these institutions. You have one thing over here which you don't need to embrace and you just get for free once the new age starts. Basically, have something to research while you wait for the institutions to pop up in your nation. But later on, to get professional armies, you need the institution of professional armies. I know, crazy. And that will be super useful for building a professional army. I know, crazy. But yeah, more about that later. For now, we'll be just going down some research over here, because that's all we can do. And you can also automate research. It is not the best, and I wouldn't recommend it. I will still do it though, because sometimes I might win a big war, forget about research, and then if you're not researching anything anymore, or you can even queue up stuff, like saying I want to have more diplomats after this, it will put it into the list, and the automatic research will kick in after my list is done. So for this reason, it is actually super nice. And with all of that talk through, let's go finally to automation. If you're new to the game and you don't really know what you're doing yet, I would recommend just automate everything. I gotta say, some things the AI does is not good. I would even say bad. But if you don't know what you're doing yet, don't feel bad about giving stuff to the AI for the beginning. I did that, and it really helped me to learn like one thing after another. Right now, I'm at the point where I don't really automate anything anymore. The only thing I automate is not even production methods anymore, because sometimes it's bad. But I do like trade. I don't need any of this. I would like to automate. Not yet. RGOs later on are good, but for the beginning, I might need a lot of money to make a market, and then it just spends the money I'm saving for markets. I will not be doing that. As I said, I don't mind research because you can have your queue. No. All of this I want to do myself. I'm a big boy now, but I would like to replace generals and replace admirals because I am lazy, and that's going to be important later. And yeah, I think that's actually all the beginning talk I wanted to do. This was way longer than I thought it would be, but I personally think this is important. And yeah, as I said, for those who are not interested, just skip that. Anyways, as for my first moves, I showed before, we're building 2 farms, but what I would also like to have is this building over here, which just straight up gives 25% crown power and starts producing your manpower. So this is is like the early professional army building, and it's super cheap. It costs 50, but because all the goods in the market are super cheap right now, at least the goods that this building needs, it is 33% cheaper. So only pay 31. Very nice. Let's build it. And in preparations for making our own market, I will be placing down windmills on my grain RGOs, which are a bit expensive, also 31, 32, but they just give a passive buff for my food production here. Very good. I will also just buff my food RGOs where I can. Right now they might be at a standard price, but I know the game by now, and there's like an early period where food just becomes super expensive, and I think I can personally blame the Italians because they start to import a lot of food. There's a lot of population in Italy. So yeah, early food build for Austria is something you can do. What I will also go into is a sand pit and building up lumber, and maybe even over here I'm out of money. Okay, I would have built a mason over here because stone, logs, and also sand are one of the most important building materials, especially for something we haven't talked about yet, roads. Yeah, roads are super important. They spread your control very well. I will also take care of these provinces now because I didn't core them and I will not be coring them. So my plan for them is pretty straightforward. I'll be going over to diplomacy, relations, foreign relations, and create subjects. Yes, I will release a puppet swarm, which is not that good as you might think, but it's better than not having any control and not getting anything off these provinces anyways, because they will just pay me, which is more efficient for the beginning. There's two options. There's historical subjects, which is the thing you might know from EU4, where you can just release old cores, or custom subjects, where you can release a province as a state. That's what I will do. Clicking over here on Arau, I will be creating vassals, not fiefdoms. The difference is that the fiefdom uses my dynasty as a head and are, I think, a bit more bound to me and easier to integrate. While a vassal is a bit more independent, I think. I am not sure, and I don't want weird shenanigans with my dynasty, so I'm just gonna give them some random dudes and then feed them the provinces around them as much as I can. So all of this uncored land or unintegrated land is now released into vassals, and you might see this didn't even eat up that much of my diplomatic capacity because they are all super small. So that's not even that bad. We have a lot of vassals now, but they're all small, so it doesn't really matter. And I would say with that out of the way, I will do something you might thought would never happen in this playthrough and unpause the game. Yeah, we're actually gonna play now, finally. We get the first disaster, the 100-Year Wars. I will be skimming over more things that are not important, but it was kind of important to me that if this was your first EU5 video, that you kind of at least know a little bit what's going on. I hope it helped. I also forgot to start minting, by the way. This is super important. Inflation is being produced over here via minting, and because we already produced some silver, like I said before, we already have base inflation added to our base value for reducing it, and minting brings it a little bit over the edge. But I gotta be honest, I like a little bit of inflation at the beginning anyway, so I'm gonna bring this up to 420. Beautiful. Also meaning we don't lose money anymore. That is also kind of nice. Uprising wise, I can very beautifully show you now that the commoners, which should absolutely hate me, have a very slow growth in uprising. This will take forever. And the nobility, which is a bit angry with me, is super fast. They will start a civil war as fast as they can. Yeah, I just played around a little bit with the laws and already super pissed. Don't underestimate the strength of the nobility, especially as Austria. We have such a strong nobility. I would love to change more laws. I just can't right now, and we just got a loan because the main reason for that is food imports. Yep. I told you at the beginning, the market, even the big market we are in right now, struggles a bit with food and will start to import randomly. This can just happen at the beginning of the game. I'm not mad. I will try to avoid loans, by the way, because loans are super bad for your crown authority. So I will repay this as soon as possible. And yeah, you see all of the food has become super expensive, seeing by the 2 stacks of golden ducats here instead of the silver one for normal and the bronze one for low cost. But these provinces are now employing up. We see over here that peasants are being promoted to be laborers, and that in the long term will mean more food. So we're just waiting for our RGOs to promote. Very good news now. We have reached 100% legitimacy, meaning that the cost of increasing our legitimacy has just drastically decreased, because instead of trying to get it up, we're just holding it at the current position, which is way cheaper. So we're actually making a bit of bank now. 10 ducats instead of like 2 ducats what we made before is super nice. Plus we can also call our first parliament, which is the Landtag here. Very important. Once again, one of those small things that you don't know if you don't look at it. If we hold it in the capital, we get centralization. We currently try to get centralization civilization, so we will hold it in the capital. Now you might ask yourself, why would you hold it anywhere else? It also gives you more control over the provinces where you hold it. So if you hold it somewhere else, you get more of the province. But to be fair, we want centralization. It's super important. So we're gonna go on that, making the court cost more expensive for a while, but we need to do this. As over here, I don't see anything I wanna do. There's a free town in here, which is nice, but it's 8% support. Yeah, that's just ain't happening. A cathedral is super nice because normally this would cost 200 ducats, and here we only need to pay 70. Plus, it's a super nice building for literacy for the clergy, pop attraction, and conversion speed. But not important. What I would rather do right now, take something with high success chance, like the nobility stuff, because they have a lot of influence. This over here for increased ties to our neighbors for dip rep. I'll take that, which would already succeed because we're at over 50%. That's how this works. But as I teased before, I will use the first time, not to get this through, but to change the law, the power of distribution law. And there's a lot of different thoughts now what you can do. Most importantly here, we can increase the max taxation for an estate, which is really good. It's a lot of money in there. Some people say the common people, because they do right at the beginning pay you the most, but I can already tax them more than what I do right now, with the difference that I would make them angrier, so the automatic thing chooses not to, because if I go all the way to the max, it would be at 35, and they would start to protest. So we're not gonna do that. I also heard favor the wealthy, which is pretty good, because the burghers are a pretty good estate, and it gives plutocracy support, which we also want right now. But I think the best right now for us is crown power, 20%, and 5% maximum taxation on everyone. They will be a bit more angry with me, but I'll just take DL. This is very good. Will take some time now to implement, but it's good we do this early. Also, the nobility likes me again. It should mean that the uprising ends. It does. So let's make him angry again. Estates, commoners, common, militias. Giving them way more power, allowing them to hold weapons, but also making levies a lot stronger. And the main thing we fight at the beginning are levies. So yeah, this is pretty good. Downside, the nobility hates this. They really do. But let's do this. Give the peasants weapons. Also, we'll be using some of my power in the HRE to improve relations with everyone and do a power grab for Duchy of Emperor. Oh yeah, and I have no money, and the game is like, hey, you want to have a masterpiece in Vienna? Yeah, totally yes, I need it, okay? They're super good, okay? It's super expensive right now, but the passive modifiers for the rest of the game, they're just good, okay? Right now, I could bribe my states to vote for whatever we want in the parliament right now, but I gotta be honest, I got what I wanted. I don't really care about the effects that it passes with, and the punishment I get for losing is 7 stability loss. That is not that bad, and it's way better than whatever they want from me when I bribe them, so I'm just gonna take the 7 stability. This is a legitimate strat, by the way. Call something you don't need, but you know it's easy to pass, and just get a war goal, change a law, get extra money. It's a legit strat that works. Anyways, the nobility loves me. What is going on? I've never seen such nice nobility. You know what it means? Let's make him angry. So with my burghers, I will be going for building rights or control over coinage. Now you know what, I'm gonna go for building rights, because we're gonna build a lot now, and 5% is 5%. Nobility doesn't hate me yet, so let's do something else. Gonna make them angry now. Those two are better later when we have a market. For now, it's not that important. So we'll be taking control over coinage. That really pisses off the nobility, but yeah, what can you do? It's not my fault that they reset the uprising, so I'm gonna use that. I will also reduce my minting now, because I don't want to go too much into inflation. But having a 2% inflation is actually good for something. I will show you in a bit. We could also cancel one loan right now, but would get a horrible modifier. Okay, it's not that bad, but it's also not nice. I will just respect them, get a free diplomat, and use that dude to continue to improve my relations in the HRE. First war I'm being called into. I mean, we don't really have a choice. It's our ally. It's not a big war, so you know what I will do? Nothing. They should be winning that. And yeah, the war is over. It was like 30 seconds. Great. So I did just notice that we have a kid old enough to be educated, and even more importantly, it's not in Austria. It is in the other nation with the woman we are married with. So what I will do, I will take my kid to my court, losing a bit of prestige, but I don't care, allowing me to kind of secure him on my side. Yeah, that's something to be a bit careful about with Austria, but we need the kid to be in Austria, so we took it to Austria. And if you actually ask yourself why I start with Austria, it's because Austria is in a position with the current game version where everything doesn't perfectly work yet. And I know this is a sponsored video, and I also love this game, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say everything is perfect in this game game has no flaws at the moment, because it has a little bit, and I will show them to a certain degree too. What I can also say is that the devs are trying super hard to fix everything in the background, and I'm super happy to see that. Especially the HRE got a lot of input from me and Proud Bavarian and some other YouTubers on what to fix. There's a big lobby to fix that because I don't know if it's working now. To be 100% fair, the patch came out yesterday. If everything is actually fixed, I don't know. We shall see. So, loans are paid off. We are debt-free. The peasants are revolting. Great. And I will be honest, I will be talking a bit less now. Just the major events, otherwise this video will become way too long. Just know I will be investing a bit into food RTOs to make them cheaper. Then I will build profitable industries. Very profitable for Austria is the jewelers. And I will also be preparing for the plague to come very soon, for which we should build very expensive but necessary hospitals. And I didn't even notice that. Yeah, we're in the next age. And banking appeared in Genoa. Very quick guide on getting banking fast is, especially if you have your own markets, to just buy stuff from the Genoan market. I don't know if I'm currently doing this because trade is automated, but no, we're not. Good news is we're getting professional army because we could have spawned the institution. Nice. Oh, it's spawned in London. Yeah, that's a bit far away for us. So, new parliament. Nothing really I want, so we'll do the same thing I did before and get something through that I know easily will pass and use that to fabricate a war goal. In this case, on Passau, because I know they don't have too many allies, and more importantly, they're controlling this bit of road over here. I mean, I could build a road around this, but it just sounds super expensive. It's actually 160 gold, by the way. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go to war for that, because it gives me a chance to show off war. And we do outman the alliance, even though no one wants to help me, but they don't have too big allies. So, let's go in. I don't have a diplomat. Wait, I don't have a diplomat. Okay, let's increase my diplomatic spending, giving me more diplomats. I don't get a lot right now because I'm improving a lot of relations in the HRE right now to fight for emperorship. Anyways, let's go to war. Very important now. I'm gonna raise all of my levies, and then a bit annoying, I have to merge them somewhere. There's a lot in combat I will not go into right now because this video will just become too long. But let's just say there's a lot of things to combat, and some of the basics I will explain when we get to it. While this war is going on, I actually became Holy Roman Emperor because the old emperor died, meaning a lot of things went to Vienna. Very, very nice. I take over the disaster, quote-unquote, in Italy. Let's see how that turns out. Bad. We're currently losing. Yeah, this is basically a total base tax rush, and you kind of inherit the progress of the AI. I gotta say, this is not the biggest disaster. We could easily win this, and we just have to sanction the papacy, which makes it harder for them to gain base tax. Yeah, this seems winnable. We might actually get this, meaning if we win this, Italy will not leave the HRE this time. And while I was not looking, I missed the first battle, which are actually quite easy to miss, because they conclude super fast now. Don't do war faster than speed 3 now, trust me. But to very simplify battles right now, you always have 3 front lines and a back line, where you will throw troops against each other until someone loses their morale, or you break through one side and can really start to crush the others. So right now, you see, I have units over here. He doesn't yet. He's trying to get troops in here with initiative. Initiative being the new modifier, giving the troops speed to join battles. So like horses have very high initiative, meaning they might join a battle earlier than infantry and can do early damage to the overall army. But yeah, because I apparently was more lucky, I got more troops to the front line, and I am currently doing a lot of damage to the other front line. The middle also just completely broke apart, meaning we do even more damage now. And yeah, now he has no more troops but on this front line, and he melted. You see, we barely had any losses. He had way more losses because his front lines broke apart and ours didn't. That was a very, very, very basic explanation of the fighting system, but I'm already trying to hold myself back explaining everything. Sorry to get a Florius yapping video. Normally I would never do this to you, but this time I feel like it is important. Oh yeah, I looked away and there was an army hidden in here and I lost a battle. Armies are a bit hidden now because we can't really see into the next province most of the time. Oh yeah, they're attacking me down here now too. Yeah, the problem is that if there's a forest, which there is over here, I can't look into this. I don't see this. I can look into the neighboring provinces if they are flatland, but if it's just forest, I have a really hard time. Anyways, new battle, new me. It is looking very good for us, and we are collapsing some of the front lines. Yeah, this looks like it's about to collapse. What they did add and didn't exist before is that you see these 3 bars now over here, which show you the different front lines and the status. Green meaning that all of them are holding solid, but in a second, if we are lucky and the front lines do collapse, you should see one go going red. There you go. Now you can visually see that this front line collapsed, meaning we do way more damage because these troops now flank, and flanking does so much damage. What you also might notice is that we're at speed 2. Battles are a lot faster now, okay? And because we're not having a professional army yet, we're currently using our peasants to fight, so having losses has an impact on our economy. So there's always a win-lose mentality to war. Now that there's actual population in this game and not just development, are you ready to go to war and lose that bit of your population to gain some land? Yes or no? I think that's a super cool question to ask. It's always yes. I need land. I'm willing to sacrifice everything for this bit of road. I need it. And yeah, this is also an easy battle. Frontline collapse. This is speed 4, by the way, and the battle is basically immediately over. So yeah, they're a lot faster. As for sieging, I don't want to siege at the moment. On the other hand, I just stack wipe the army, which is nice. But yeah, I don't want to siege right now for the sole reason they have a lot of stuff in there. If I would rush down the fort right now, it does say we're likely losing. I don't think so we would win, but we would probably lose 8,000 men to rushing down this fort, and I'm kind of not willing to lose that much population. So I would love to just separate piece out Salzburg for maybe this bit of road over here too. Don't want to get too much antagonism, but we can't do that yet. We need to wait at least 1 year after the war began. That is the 1st of March. If you look to the date, it's the 1st of October right now. That's how much time has passed with all of the battles and moving around. Yeah, wars are a lot quicker now, and I recommend at least 3 speed. Maybe if you're very confident 4 speed, never like I did many times 5 speed, okay? Then you will just die and will not even notice what happened. But who you can always peace out with is the main war target. So the 12 months of waiting are about separate piecing out people. And yeah, food prices are still high, just to show you how important food is in the beginning. But to be fair, there will be coming something very soon that will change the demand for food a little bit. Spoilers. Also very important, I just marched with my entire army from here to here, and it lost half of its morale, meaning that I would be better off just chilling a bit over here before engaging in any battle. And now we can. Okay, we're gonna build that hospital and we're gonna build the market after, okay? I just random change of plans. Don't ask me, okay? There's no reason. But yeah, no, you're gonna get a hospital now. Basically, the Black Death is just a big coping moment where you will lose between half and a third of your population. That's just how it is. I recommend losing a third instead of half, and that's when you build hospitals and do a lot of other things, but you will always lose a lot. Like, you can never change that. Anyways, can we piece you out? Yes, we can. Give me max money and give me war operations. Oh, humiliate. I get prestige. True, them arrival. Actually perfect for the HRE stuff. I'm gonna take that. I could vassalize them too, but it would be a lot of antagonism that I don't want right now, so I will not be doing that. I'm just in for the money. Can I call it the Golden Bull now, by the way? No, I can't yet, and I think it's because of 40 Imperial Authority. Okay, I need to scroll down. I didn't see that. Next, you over here. Can I vassalize you? Oh, people are not even that angry about it. Barely any antagonism. I'm gonna vassalize them. War operations. Yes, you can vassalize people and ask for war operations. It's great. Anyways, thank you very much. New vassal. And he doesn't even hate me. That's great. As for Salzburg, I will be taking these bits over here. Still not enough antagonism with anyone that hates me, so I'm gonna take money and war operations. There we go. They say yes to this. Beautiful. And as for my last target, I will be taking this, which still doesn't bring me over 50 antagonism, which is the coalition area like in EU4 with A. So beautiful. First World War, I just want to show it off in all of its glory. We will probably skip a bit more for now, but beautiful. Peace out. More money. And more money means new hospital at the moment. We need hospitals. And to demobilize your army, you can just, when you're at peace, right click over here and disband all of your levies, meaning they go back to work. Over here we have now uncored land, which you might see is not good. So I will be taking some of my advisors of their current duties. I always call them advisors, even though they're like a member of my cabinet. I will keep calling them advisors, okay? You can't stop me. I will be taking off this dude over here from strengthening our government, which kind of cuts down my cost of keeping my legitimate high right now. That's why I mainly do it. It's cheaper that way. You integrate province, Frankfurten. You over here, you have no skill for integration, so I will change you out to someone who does. Another Habsburg, let's go. Habsburg only cabinet. And you integrate cards. As for over here, this is bordering our puppet, so I'm just gonna be very direct. Seed location, this location over here, and now he can integrate for me and I don't need to use an advisor on them. Why is that good? Because when I annex him, and trust me I will, this only costs me diplomats, meaning that my cabinet is free to do other stuff, and I'm using them right now to integrate this land over here, mostly because it's just one province and it should be done fairly soon, but otherwise I always try to release puppets and then annex them, especially in the early game. That's super nice because then you just inherit the core state generated, which is beautiful. Nobility, you are annoying, you know that, but you're probably also very angry. Kind of. There's there's a lot of little things you might not think about in this game, but that I love. Like winter having an actual impact on the province for a while is something I never think about while playing, but it does have an impact on your food production. And you do have in your markets a food stockpile that will decrease in winter. Or you overproduce very heavily that it doesn't. But yeah, there's a building called the granary, which basically creates that food storage, and all the granaries combined are the food storage of your market. I'm pretty sure there's also other buildings, but I feel like this is just a nice simplification of the system to show off how this works and how it's intended, and I kind of like that. There's a lot of little things playing into this game you can just very appreciate. And if you want me to make more content on this game, let me know. If not, I will probably just play this a lot privately because, yeah, as I said, I already have like 150 hours in this game, and I should have made HRE 4 videos, so I'm very sorry. But this was a business expense. I'm sponsored. This is all legitimate. I don't want to hear anything. I'm also getting so many events to get low stability. I'm really not meant to have stability today. Where's the Black Death, by the way? Okay, still far away. I will not be saying this once it pops up at the Italian ports. Then it's gonna be a problem. As for the HRE, we can finally do the Golden Ball, where we seal the Golden Ball, allowing me to get more Imperial Authority, and even better, basically waking up the HRE and making it able to do some reforms. So let's do that. Okay, I see a certain plague appearing in the Venetian and Genoan ports, and because I would like to protect some of my population centers, I will be taking a bit of a loan, which is not good, to build 2 new hospitals in the 2 big cities I've left. Sorry, Klagenfurt, you will not be getting a hospital, but to be fair, you're one of my smaller cities, so plus you're super far away from my control. But these cities over here are actually something I can control fairly soon, so I would like to have an hospital over here for the plague. And for once my estates are happy again, you know what that means. The burghers get new rights. You know what? Production efficiency makes the nobility a bit angry, but actually not enough to be angry. So land of commerce, well, let's go. This does decrease their maximum taxation, but to be honest, I just really like the trade modifiers later on and all the other modifiers from this, and it pushes us into a direction like capital economy, which I like a lot. It has production efficiency, it has cheaper buildings. Traditional economy, which we are very deep in right now, means more expensive buildings, better RGO output, more population capacity, true, more food production, but long term I like this one more. It is just super good. Okay, it's in Hungary now too. I'm looking forward to immediately pop up in Austria. Don't click isolate country. It is useless and it's a bad modifier. And St. Pölten has been integrated. I'm gonna take this advice over here now, go down to Cartharingia and integrate that. And this is super fast to integrate, by the way, because they're the right culture. Over here, there's a cultural difference, so yeah. And as the hospitals are to finish, we are invited to the Black Death. Very fun. What I will do is move my court into hiding. I don't want to die. Costs me 10 stability. Don't care. And segregate the infected, which gives me disease resistance and communalism. I only care about disease resistance. We want this as much as possible. And yeah, now we just sit this one out. We will have negative stability, which sucks, but it is what it is. I was just super unlucky. Now you can start to see how the Black Death is ravaging over Austria and how population will not have a good time. We're at 1.37 right now. This will decrease. Yeah, 4 months later, we had minus 20k a month now. So it is spreading. What I didn't talk about is that we did get the Golden Ball through, and it's basically a guaranteed win. Actually, I like, because I haven't played since the patch. But if they didn't change a lot, I kind of know what to go for, and what will be super helpful and nice. By the way, this is the highly prepared effect, where I had the money to build hospitals. This can go worse than this. This is the effect of the plague with measures. It's still bad. We just lost 100,000 per month for a second. Oh my god. No, my younger brother died. That's actually sad. There you go, nephew. Nepotism, I love it. But to be fair, it gives us crown authority, okay? Look at this. In the cabinet, plus 12.5%. Beautiful. You see the debt right now? That's actually bad. So I've already started to pay this a bit off. And if you're also getting a lot of these events now, where we have to give away stuff or we lose imperial authority, that is, yeah, this is why it's a bit annoying to be HRE Emperor, but it is what it is. As for the parliament, yeah, nothing is useful. I'm just gonna go in here, ask to change law. And I would say we go away from an aristocratic court to a court of culture. Innovativeness and cultural influence, sure. Everything that takes away power from my nobility. And to be fair, they started with 50% power. We already got them down to 40%. I'll take that. Also means they pay more taxes. Very nice. So slowly but surely the Black Death is receding. Yeah, we lost a lot. We had 1.4 million population and we're down to 860k. It's good. I had worse. This is actually decent. I'll take it. And Krems, come on. Come on. We're in the clear now. We survived the Black Death, kinda. So we stopped losing population. We can finally concentrate on building up. What you might notice right now in our capital city is a lot of job positions being empty. And yeah, that's It's not just in the capital city. So slowly they will promote peasants to go into the higher positions, I guess, which is a nice symbolization of the labor that was missing and the improvement of living standard, I guess, around that time. Problem being is that we have super low stability, so our promotion speed is not high. But my next main goal, next to trying to hold the HRE together, is get my own market and become rich that way. And here you go, one of the great events of being an HRE emperor. You get to choose between losing money or losing imperial authority. I have neither. I'm still broke. You know what? For the first time I will say no. I will always click yes from now, I promise. But we need to get rid of the debt. It is bad. It is really bad. First job as the HRE emperor. I'm being called in into defensive war against Denmark, and I think this should be doable. I'm not afraid of Denmark. I'm afraid of France or Great Britain. I don't like that Great Britain is losing, because that means I have to fight against a strong France. And talking about things that are not perfect at the moment, as much as I know, and I hope they change it with the latest patch, you will not be called in as a co-belligerent when you defend the HRE. You will be called in as just one alliance partner to the nation being attacked. So if France attacks anyone with an economy of this and an army of this, me with an economy of this and an army of this has to defend that. And the army doesn't calculate in the vassal swarm they have, because they have one. So yeah, that's not gonna be fun. As for Denmark, let's help. Yeah, battle is won. I think we got that Danish on a retreat. Now it's all about unsieging the land and maybe even getting a bit for ourselves. And with ourselves, I mean the HRE. Big event over here. Our ruler doesn't have a wife, and the Bohemian king has a daughter, so we can marry them together. And yeah, we married a very young Bohemian leader. The debt is also paid off, and I might have forgotten that I was minting money. That is high inflation than what I wanted. But yeah, the debt is actually gone. That is good. And there's a way to get rid of that, especially with the parliament, so I'm gonna wait for that. So the war is over. We defended HRE very good. They were, oh my god, they were super greedy for Denmark. But yeah, that happens if you attack the HRE, except you're France and I can't do anything, I'm sorry. And I gotta say, I really want to make some money now, and creating a market will only become more and more expensive. So I will do something crazy, go a bit into debt, which I really don't recommend, and build a market in Vienna. And I think with our RGOs being very much upgraded, we should be able to feed the people, especially after certain events have passed, thankfully. I will also prepare more privileges for the burghers for more trade capacity. Beautiful. And they're still under 25, so all good. And even the nobility is now at 36. Nice. That is bad. One of my heirs died. And the new market is here. You see now on the map, a new market has been created. It is very nicely incorporates all of Austria, and it really allows me to use my own trade centers within our own market. Thing I'm scared right now, when a new market is being created, you tend to not have any food in it, which also spikes up buying food very often. So what I will do for the beginning is go over here to our market and look at my current trades and see, okay, we are importing food now. We'll actually lock that down, because I probably will need food for now in the market until our granaries have filled up. And yeah, there you go. Look at that. Minus nearly 11. I expected that, but it's always like a little bit of a... Oh, minus 17. But it is because we're losing food right now. And it's because we're exporting a lot to the Venetians. What are you doing? It is already coming down again, but I did notice every time you create a new market, you have this big spike in food buying for like 3 months, and it's like enormous amount of money you're losing. Impossible for a small nation to hold, but we seem to be out of that now, and I will also start to slowly reduce our food imports over time. We can actually start making some money with our trades. New parliament and a new ally in Bohemia. Because of the royal marriage, it was super easy. And I also see that we can probably invite them into a war against Hungary, which seems quite interesting. Because what I haven't told you yet is that Bohemia is broken economy-wise. They're super good. I mean, you see the plague here, but trust me, they are really good. And we're gonna struggle to keep up with them. But having them as an ally could be useful. And we could get some of the Hungarian land. Otherwise, it would expand into Bohemia, because we want to conquer land around our capital city, because that's where our control is. You know what? I'm just for now gonna sponsor a cathedral, build up my relations with the Bohemians, and then use them for a war. I'm gonna convince the nobility with some promises for traditional economy, give the clergy a monastery, and that's enough to make everyone happy. Very nice. Also, I'm building up some marketplaces in Vienna for increased trade capacity, and then I will slowly build up my jewelry industry. We're also done with integrating getting all the land, which means I can use my consulars again to do other stuff. Also, yeah, I'm not meant to have money. As I said, I will click yes now, but this does still hurt. We're also getting a lot of support for our parliament, so I might actually put something else in. Maybe a law change to go from a feudal administration to a central council, giving the aristocracy more power, but also giving us more centralization and cabinet efficiency, which makes our cabinet, which I always call our councillors, faster. So yeah, I will do that. That's a pretty good law. Might need to do something else now, like adopt humanist ideas, lose legitimacy, which does kind of hurt, and I guess innovativeness, if though you lose cultural tradition. Made the aristocracy a bit angry, but it is what it is. And yeah, we lost quite a bit of people to the Black Death, more than a third of our nation, but it could have been way worse. As for a war, we can even call him Bohemia because they love us. Let's bonk these Italian nations over here, because I did prepare a war goal to come into our faction, and I don't have enough diplomats. Oh my god, this diplomats are such a limiting factor for me. But yeah, let's go in. The Bohemians are mobilizing, and now you start to see why I say they're scary. They have so many vassals, and the vassals do have quite a bit of army together, and Silesia is very highly developed. Yeah, they're scary. I might actually just sit this one out and let Bohemia do their stuff. It's cheaper for me, and definitely they should win. So yeah, the Bohemians are just doing all the work for me. That's good. You also get events like this as the HRE Emperor, where we also lose manpower and money, but in return we get actually good amount of imperial authority. And I gotta be honest, I'll take that, because we're nearly up to 50, meaning very soon we can do new stuff. I mean, I could already go down Emperor Dynastic Preference, which would make it easier for us to get re-elected and give us more imperial authority. And it's the first reform towards emperor-conform policies, which is something we have to get up if we want to unite the HRE. You see down here, revoke the privilegia needs 5 of these policies. Again, like, no preview will vote for this, but everyone likes me, so let's try it. Did this ever work in any test run? No, never. Yeah, right now, no one is voting, but last second, everyone will vote, so let's see. The last day before the vote, yeah, everyone votes against it. It's just great. Nothing changes. No one really hates us because of that. I just noticed here you do get a preview of what they will vote, at least what they want, and it's basically the opposite of what I want. Not good. What you can also see in this list is that some votes are more worth than others. So all you need to basically just do is bribe all of the members that have the most votes, which are the electorates. And that's how the HRE works at the moment, as much as I know. Anyways, if that vote failed, let me just end this war over here, where I can just cheekily, and yep, I get away with this, puppet this nation over here. Let me just double check. Yeah, I'm emperor, so I get a lot of extra diplomatic capacity, as long as I stay emperor. I'm gonna puppet them, very good, and add Ferrara into my faction. Welcome to the good guys. And that's basically how you handle this over here, where you get more nations on your side, so you can get more total tax base in your faction. Just gotta spot which are the weak ones, and Florence has 0 allies, so just gonna very quickly create a spy network in them, and once we have 20 spy network, we can get the war goal. And yeah, more imperial authority, once again expensive, but we can afford it now. Our income has drastically increased, and that within the first few years of the game. I gotta say, I love playing tall in this game, and Austria is kind of mixed where you can do both. You can play very tall, you have a lot of potential. I mean, Bohemia is even more, they have so much cities and flatland over here, but for a good challenge and a lot of potential through the HRE, Austria is amazing. I gotta say that. Plus, I might have my personal biases, but that aside, it's great. So we have imperial authority. I'm pretty sure I can do nothing really with it. On the other side, the people would be pro Landesfriede. What we could also do is go from traditional diet to early imperial diet, giving us more imperial authority, but also giving a bit more rights to everyone else in the HRE. In my own experience, that is pretty nice for different reasons. Okay, you know what? I never did it. Let's do Landesfriede. What could go wrong? Everything. So we're debt free. We can call a new parliament. Nothing here that I really want or need, so I will just get the thing from the aristocracy, and let's use this to get a war goal, and I'm not even sure if that works, to fabricate a war goal on... Okay, we can't fabricate on uprisings. This would have been so cheesy and amazing. Because we can't attack Hungary right now, because they are in a PU with Poland, and we can't really go against Poland right now. What we'll rather do right now is push the other direction, I guess. Salzburg. They have friends, but we still have Bohemia, so we can just say, Bohemia, kill this person with a stick, and they will. One day they will turn down and will try to beat me, but as long as I can use them for wars, I will, okay? Go Bohemia, go forth, destroy this man. And yeah, the vote went through. We have Ewiger Landesfriede. Good side is that stability investment cost is cheaper now, because it was at plus 2.5%. 10% and now it's minus, so minus 5% cost, which I do take. Very nice. We did annex our first subject over here, and I think this should turn into course because we accept the local culture, or not. On a very good note, I could get professional armies right now, which is super nice for multiple reasons. One of them being that every time you embrace an institution, you get percentage bonus on your research, but it's a lot of stability, it's a lot of money. I'm gonna wait a bit longer, and I gotta be honest, we can't afford an army right now anyways, so I will wait a bit longer with that and use the money to build something important like a palace, which is actually also really good, but also super expensive. That's why I didn't build it yet. But yeah, we're gonna need it. And after that, royal garden for prestige and diplomats. Both we also need. Also, my nobility is happy again, so I will just give another thing to my burghers. Very good. Still at 14% power. That's what I mean with I can give them a lot of stuff and they're still not scary. Gonna do some separate pieces in here. Very delicious for money. If I'm not getting a lot of that because Bohemia is doing most of the work, but the war operations do go towards me. Very nice. So war is basically won, but the Bohemians are not giving me the land, even though I have the claim. I mean, I get it. They did most of the work, but the only thing I can really do now is wait for them to peace out and then take it. Or you know what? I'm gonna use this opportunity to humiliate them, take the land I can take, because this does go to me, and get war operations. So this is basically just a bit of money, a bit of greed, and next time I should just easily be able to eat the rest. And what do you look at that? Delicious money. And yeah, I will definitely invest in one thing now. Marketplaces. They are super strong once you have your own market, especially then. And now we've basically entered the profit spiral. We even have our own gem mine over here. I'm not sure if it's in my market or not. It isn't yet. Well enough Salzburg is. But yeah, that was a bit too greedy. I agree. But you know, better to try and to lose than never trying. Easy war against Florence. Let's change the faction. And yeah, but that we have to do on our own. Sadly, can't use Bohemia for everything. And yeah, war is over. Join my faction. Humiliate. I mean, I could puppet them too, but jokes aside, that's not a lot of enemy. Free puppet. Let's go. That's a lot of money. That's so much money. Okay, what's going on here? That is actually a really good free puppet here. Now we have to gamble that I never lose emperorship. Otherwise, I'm screwed. I will also finally take professional armies because I'm starting to have good amounts of money now. Don't think about that. Most of it is war operations and my vassals. Definitely my economy being this good. Yes, yes. But you're also starting to see the benefits of trade income. We get 10 right now, and it's just by automatic trading because I'm lazy. And we're spending 1 ducat for the markets to work. So this is a very nice profit margin. And that's why it's a very good building. Because no matter how much you really produce, worst case scenario, you can import stuff to export stuff. It doesn't work everywhere, what I've heard. But in regions like Austria, and especially if you play Byzantium, trade is amazing. That's why I will keep investing into trade. More marketplaces. And yeah, I will actually spread them out because if I build all of them in Vienna, yeah, my pop's already trying to catch up. They're doing it in good speed, but it will take some time. At the same time, we can call a new parliament, and oh my god, we got it. This is the most broken parliament thing that exists. Balance the budget. Giving you no inflation, basically, if you go to 100% minting, and reduces your inflation by 2.5 when it passes. So while it's being debated, you get this bonus, which means a lot of money for me. You will see in a second. And after it's done, and you got it through, of course, you even lose inflation. So I'm gonna pick that. Gonna get myself this, which gives me a bit of antagonism, which I don't like, but I really want this to pass. And prove opinion with someone, I don't care. Good, we are in the green now. And if you look over here, we are losing a lot of inflation right now. I don't care about that, so I will just put this all the way to the end. 25 ducats. That's more than everything we get right now in terms of war operations and our vassals. This is amazing. And that without any inflation. This is super good. I'm gonna use that money to build up my RGOs a little bit. Because as I showed before, with the mass expand RGO button, you basically get the best and most profitable RGO recommended. So we'll upgrade that. What I could also activate now that we have all expensive buildings in Vienna is building RGOs. So when we have too much money, the game will start building some RGOs for me in the background. And building RGOs is never a bad thing. There's no real way to make them unprofitable or anything like that. And yay, serfdom exploitation. Generally a good modifier. Let's go. Don't think about it. It is fine. Very careful. This is done now. So we get full inflation again. Which means I will put this to a more comfortable level again. But yeah, that was very nice money. And I can build even some more RGOs with that. Beautiful. That is a big war against Bohemia. And I gotta say, it might be a betrayal. We might need to join this. Because I can't attack Hungary. Bohemia already helped me a lot, but they're not willing to help me anymore. This is hard. Because I don't want to lose my alliances, but at the same time, this is a big enough blob. So Bohemia Bohemia is actually challenged. If I just allow Bohemia to expand, I have a problem. So you know what? I will join that. Even though it's against my ally, my best friend. But I'm also the Emperor of the HRE, meaning my mission is to protect the HRE at all costs. We have passed Landesfriede, so I don't want to see big conquests within the HRE. We have to hold together. I also just remember that I have my own vassal swarm with Florence down here and already some Italian vassals over here. So generally speaking, we might actually have a chance. On the other hand, Bohemia is absolutely busted. And they have so much infantry. Look at that. This is just crazy. We might need to do some dividing and conquering here before we do anything else. And I'm gonna tell my puppets to stay with me. The 6k is just a Bohemian army, by the way. You also have all of the vassals here. Do we have any allies? They thankfully don't have any allies, so we might have a chance. Big might. I gotta say, I did forget to go down professional army, but now that we unlock this, the first thing I want to get immediately is the armory, which is for us the first building to really generate manpower. So this is super important. Then what I like to use as a unit is a hand gunner. I prefer to call them hand gunners, artillery, and cavalrymen. Then we have a good professional army. Might even get some more men-at-arms in here and plated knights. Very beautiful. Will be some time until we research that. Definitely not going to be useful in this war, but for the future, very necessary. Okay, first big battle between our two armies, and if the Bohemians lose this, it is basically over, because that's the main army, and that's just a part of the coalition's army. Yeah, looking pretty good. And those are levies, so those losses are permanent for a while. That is not a professional army that can just recover with manpower. Nope, that is their levies. And that's an interesting war goal for a later date. It's a bit useless, but I guess it's an interesting war goal. I died, but I also became emperor, so I guess W? Sure. Meaning we're back up to nearly 50 imperial authority. That is nice. Okay, I gotta say, we have the most war participation right now. So, peace treaty time. Looks a bit cursed, but I gotta be honest, it is close to Vienna, and it should weaken Bohemia by a lot. I hope the rest of the coalition also gets their stuff together and beats down Bohemia even more, but I, for myself, just take that. Don't even get that much AE from that. It's just Moravia and Salzburg already hates me anyways, so I don't care. War is over. I noticed in my population centers that I did lose a little bit, because laborers are missing and some merchants too. But overall, I think this was very much worth it. And yeah, Bohemia lost that war. They took some land from Bohemia. I don't mind it. A weaker Bohemia is a better Bohemia. Even better right now, they just annexed Moravia. Funnily enough, allows me to release a historical subject of Moravia, which is super good, because they have the cores, meaning they can justify for their own land, giving me as the overlord a reconquest war. You know what? Normally I don't do this, but yeah, welcome back Moravia. Go justify for your land, please. And now we actually gotta really pray that I never lose the HRE Emperorship, because then I'm genuinely screwed. I have so many puppets. It's actually crazy. But they are part of my market, which benefits me. But yeah, true, and we still have that because of our royal marriage. And yeah, you kind of see the economy of Bohemia just exploding. 350 compared to our 90. And because peace is for the weak, let's go for another Force into Faction CB. You thought this is going to be a chill playthrough, right? No, we just started calm, doesn't mean it will stay that way. First coalition partner is out. We've also unlocked the armory. Beautiful, I'm gonna immediately build one of those, because not having professional armies really hinders my city growth. These buildings do tend to be empty, most of them fighting in a war, and I'd rather have specialized troops doing that instead of, you know, my merchants dying. On the other hand, we are winning this now, so it was kind of worth it. Also, a thing that exists now in EU5, and can be a bit annoying if you don't know what's happening. While it's winter, you can't go through the Alps. So right now, this would be the shorter way, but this is blocked because it's December right now, so we have to go all around this. I'm not gonna do that, but yeah, just so you know, that's a little thing I would like to just call it out as it exists. It's less frustrating when you start to understand it, but yeah, it is a bit frustrating, I gotta say that. It makes sense, and I like it, don't get me wrong, it's just also frustrating. It can be both. By the way, also just notice I have a lot of imperial authority, so you know what, I will be calling the early die now, because we can use it for something different. I would also like to show, and they should just back this 100% because they love it. So it's April again. We can move through the land, and I'm thinking about being super greedy now and take Tyrol as a vassal, which I could right now. It's very greedy. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be greedy. We'll take it. Welcome, Tyrol. They even love me, which is super helpful. And over here for the last guy, I will just force him into my faction. A lot of money. That's actually a lot of money. And war reparations. Beautiful. Meaning this war is also over, and we can stop with the Italian wars. Now let's go north. north and beat up Denmark, which decided to attack one of the HRE members in the background. So you're starting to see now that the first few armories, which by the way is a super expensive building, starts to go online. We don't have guns yet, but that's the sole reason that we don't have the building to build guns yet. So we'll have guns very soon, just not yet. But this allows us to recruit our population as manpower. So we truly start to have a manpower pool now, which is amazing. Not using my merchants to die in my wars anymore is a blessing. I will continue to do so sometimes, but I prefer not to. And yeah, we got the law through, more imperial authority, everyone likes me a bit more, and a better reformed parliament. Best of all, we only lost the imperial authority we needed, not everything. So if you forget about it for a while, it's not that bad anymore. I think in EU4 you lost everything if you did a reform. Here, only what it costs. I think with the example of the Golden Bull, I think the Golden Bull actually takes all of your imperial authority, no matter how much you have. But as I said, I only have 150 hours in this game. I'm still in the tutorial. Yeah, Denmark, you're really cooked now. Guess you didn't expect me to win, but I'm now here. Also, a bit expensive, but I would love to have it. Banking, now only missing a Renaissance, which I could get if I import more from Parma, but I was mostly busy fighting in a region, forgot to actually do some economic play. That's why I like the automation stuff. But to be fair, we have ticking Renaissance in our capital, because we are importing, so okay, I'm already doing everything I can. I guess just my neighbors haven't embraced it yet, so it takes generally forever. Beautiful. Anyways, that is Denmark cooked. Time for some peace, please. I would like some peace now. So we're starting to have a good economy, really good, especially for an Austria. Just watch the growth from the beginning, pretty solid. Ignore the population dips from the war, that doesn't count. So I would like to show you something else the HRE has. We are gonna call a parliament inside of the HRE, and I just tend to use the biggest city for, I don't know, where we can get one of two things. It's basically asking for tribute, income, or a lot of manpower and a bit of income. I'm in for the money, so I'm gonna do this. Problem, if this fails, we lose 10 imperial authority. That is quite a bit, and it doesn't really give you a preview who will vote for this. So what I tend to do is get 20 prestige, so I always can click these options down here, where just lose 20 prestige, but get a lot of support in the parliament, and, or, depends on if we need both or not, lessen the taxation on states, which doesn't really matter because we don't have taxes yet. Just so you know, there's an actual taxation law, and we currently have no taxation. It might be broken, but I'll take it. No, 3 days left for the vote. No one is supporting me, so I'm just gonna throw in these two things. Surprise, surprise, a lot of people are on my side now, meaning that I should get, yes, good amount of money, nearly up to 1,000. Beautiful. Okay, new parliament, and I think the time has finally come. Goodbye, Salzburg. They do have a good amount of friends, but I have more troops, and I also have my vassal swarm. Call me optimistic, but I think we got this. This also finally gives me the opportunity to show off rushing down a fort, because they haven't maintained it at 100% before I was here. And my army, I mean, I have quite a big army here. I like how this info over here always says he will fail, no matter how much troops you have. But if I click now and assault, you see slowly their garrison ticking down and mine going really fast down. And that was like a third filled, not 100%, a third. So yeah, assaulting forts, there was a meta for that in an earlier patch. It is not anymore. Yeah, but the war is going pretty well, so I should just win that. We've also unlocked the government reform of Archduchy of Austria, a really good government reform, because firstly, it's free. It gives us another slot. We get prestige, we get legitimacy, and we get diplomats. This is super nice. And we're officially now called the Archduchy of Austria. So a little time skip, not in the game, but in real life. I got an event for this modifier over here, and I generally don't know what to think of it, because it seems really bad, but also really good. So I just asked a lot of YouTubers, and the council has summoned, and they have decided that this is good. And I kind of agree, because decentralization does suck, negative crown power also sucks, but tax efficiency is great, and even better, monthly legitimacy. That is also super good. If you remember from the beginning, I use one of my councillors just to increase legitimacy, so I spend less money on increasing my legitimacy, which currently costs me 35 ducats. It's a lot, okay? So by doing this, I do lose legitimacy, but I gain centralization, and I gain a very good modifier. And we have many other ways to get crown power back, and we have many other ways to get centralization. So I will just eat this. Very good. And yeah, I totally forgot we had war. lot of time has actually passed. So a lot of separate pieces later, I will end the war now, get a good amount of money, and turn Salzburg into my vassal. And I would say with the leftover money that I did get out of these wars, I will do something scary. For the first time, do a law that the electors don't want. Making them temporarily hate me a bit, because this is not a permanent opinion modifier, just slept on while voting. Giving more imperial authority and giving the others more reasons to elect me. Very nice, and most importantly, a first step towards the next law, which is the one we actually want. Funnily enough, I don't want to have Erbkaisertum for quite a while, for the sole reason that it decreases your imperial authority. Yeah, and this over here is basically, they will always vote for you, so yeah, that's good, okay. Let's start the vote, and now we're gonna do the most HRE thing you have ever seen. We're just gonna bribe area elector. Yeah, that's a thing that works, and I hope it actually does work now, because in the version before, it didn't. I do need to have a positive balance, so let me just pretend like I'm minting right now. That is new, and this does cost 10 prestige now. Oh no, this costed 1 prestige before. I might not have enough prestige for this. Okay, let's go for Emperor Dynastic Preference. Okay, yeah, this still doesn't work yet, because how much money I can give them is kept to the size of the economy from the nation, which doesn't have a big one. What is not bound to the economy is the reasons to like me, so I can't give them more money, but I need to give them more money, otherwise they wouldn't vote for what I want. Well enough, Bohemia can easily bribe, and some other electors too, just so you know, the threshold at the moment is 200 ducats, then you get enough reason to bribe them. But with this now being 10 prestige instead of 1, I might have wasted some money here. I'm gonna gamble a bit and hope that I get more support over time by getting a bit more prestige. Got some prestige again, very good, but yeah, it is not enough. I think I would have needed 3 more electors on my side to actually get this through, meaning that I need 60 prestige and 1,200 ducats to vote through 1 law. Upside is I will not lose any imperial authority through this, even though it does suck that it's failed because the money is now gone. But to be 100% fair, I might not be playing on Araman, but that doesn't mean I will jump every time like something doesn't go my way. And this is totally fine. I'm just doing this if I do something world-ending and would need to re-record all of this, which I don't have the time for. I waited for the newest patch of this, and I have very limited time to edit this now, so I hope you can forgive me. I at least try to be honest about it. Anyways, we still have a lot of money, so I'm gonna unlock RGOs again and continue to upgrade my nation. Even more importantly, I'm gonna start building up an army. Something I haven't talked about, but is kind of important if we want to integrate Moravia later on. With the subject interaction, this one over here, we can improve our standing with their culture, giving them a bit of liberty desire, but this doesn't matter, because this button, you can only click every 50 years. So only every 50 years, I can improve my relation with someone else's culture, with my puppet. So yeah, you should click this as soon as possible, meaning that my standing of the culture is way better, but their standing towards me is still neutral. So they could ask me to also improve my relation with them, which could very much happen at any time. And this does not just make it cheaper for me to accept the culture, but also makes it easier to convert their culture to mine. Yeah, I might have my own intentions why I want to do this, but that's also a warning for when you play something like Byzantium in nations like Bulgaria or Serbia. By the way, this is horrible what happened here. Clergy Empire, what is going on here? Anyways, if you're playing Byzantium and Bulgaria asks you to improve the relation with your culture, they might convert all the Greek people to become Bulgarian. As a warning, this is a thing. Be careful. But anyways, don't want to waste any more HRE points. I will just go down Landesfriede more. Actually, most people don't want it anymore. That's funny. What I could do is treasury taxation, which is the first step towards imperial taxation. And even though this sounds bad, because we could just jump to direct taxation, which does benefit me more than treasury taxation, which means the HRE gets its own money pool and I can use that money to interact with the HRE. This is not bad, at least having this, because you will need this when the Protestants arrive. So we're gonna do this, even though it doesn't benefit me directly. Law went through, very good, meaning we now have taxation, and Bohemia pays the most, very good. Something I can also build now to really increase my infrastructure under production buildings and laborers is a bridge. Super nice modifiers for more influence and faster movement speed. So I'm gonna build a few of those along the Danube, so my influence can finally grow. Okay, actually, I wanted to get this reform through to get a free town, because I do want to urbanize right now, but I did get an alliance with Poland and Hungary, and going to war with Bohemia, Poland will not say yes, but Hungary, if I promise them land, is super close to saying yes. And just because I promised them land doesn't mean I give them land. And I already have a war goal. I forgot it. I have a puppet. Yes. You might notice that this recording goes over multiple days. Now I forgot why I got this puppet, but it is amazing news. So yeah, I can get the urbanization and call in Hungary. This is great. Anyways, I founded the city in Baden. I will also found the city over here in Korneuburg. I just really want to urbanize around Vienna, because that's where I have the most control. The only exception is Gensendorf and Thurn and St. Pölten. No, at this point I will not make a St. Pölten joke. I'm bigger than that. Not like St. Pölten. So law went through. We got a new town over here, and it's a bit empty. What I like to start with is a temple, just for more max control. The most important building when I'm a bit out of reach of my capital city. Marketplaces. That of course only really works when you're in your own market. So down here it wouldn't be that worth. But because this is still very much within our own market, very worth. We also very much win on this side over here. And I'm starting to build up a good standing army. We have cannons, we have cavalry, and infantry. The urge to not call them handgunners is really, really bad. And yeah, that disaster is won. Meaning they all join the HRE and they will like it. Okay, not the Pope. Screw you, Pope. I'm pretty sure he rivaled me. Yeah, he did. So army starts to become a bit expensive. I guess for now I'm happy with the size. Having some supply, some cannons, mostly for sieging at the moment. Some cavalry for initial attacks, and some infantry for, you know, having the bulk of the fighting. I will not be going too deep into army because I gotta be honest, I'm mostly winging that. I'm not gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing with army. So it looks like I will not be getting anyone anytime soon into this war. Might need to do this on my own. Yeah, this is probably not gonna be fun, but they will become only stronger, so I would say now or never. Let's go in. Very good news. A lot of free money. I'll take that. We can also finally embrace the Renaissance, which is super late, but I'm gonna take this ASAP. I'm gonna stop all the other research I'm currently prepping up, even though it's probably good, because Renaissance is amazing for the sole reason that you get an extra cabinet seat and also a government reform. So I'm gonna go down here as soon as I can. I'm also gonna take the specific bonus for us in form of dip rep, and court cost seems also good. There's a lot of good things here basically, and I'm a bit sad we're super late to Renaissance, but the military stuff was kinda more important, and it's at the end of the day still a bit RNG what you get. But yeah, it's all queued up, and now we just need to wait. Oh no, that still exists. I guess good thing I still have an heir, because otherwise this would fall apart. Okay, big battle over here, and so far I'm trading surprisingly well, even though no allies coming to help me. Oh my god, I broke through. Oh my god, I'm flanking them. Another broke through. Ah, yes, look at that. Quality over quantity, I say here. Professional army for the win. There's still a lot of peasants in that army though, but still ignored. So, good war. I can peace out, and I will. I will take a big chunk out of them because I can. And I really need to start to weaken them, so this is also not too bad. Antagonism-wise, the only one that really hate me is them and their puppets, so I don't really care. And yeah, this was another important war to decrease the strength of Bohemia because their economy is just blowing hardcore, and we need to stop that. And because I still have so much free diplomatic capacity, I'm just gonna release another puppet because why not? But yeah, overall, very successful war. My main strategy was to siege down a fort really quick before they could really fill it up and fill it with my own garrison, so they bite their teeth out getting that fort back. That did work. Just be careful to refill a garrison. You need an actual army, and you can't use levies. That's why I didn't do this before. And there we go. Moravia asks to also improve relations, meaning once I integrate them, it is now super cheap for me to accept the culture, and I can integrate them way quicker. Because I'm not sure if I said it yet, but to fully core a province, you need to have an accepted culture, not just tolerate it, or convert the province to your culture, which takes forever. But yeah, this is super cheap, 0.6. In comparison to something else like Slovene, which is just on neutral, it would cost me 1.6. That is a lot more. Problem I have right now, because the Pope has decided to just rival me, I'm excommunicated and I'm getting no prestige right now because of that. That is actually horrendous. I might actually need to wait for my emperor to die to be able to do anything, because all the reforms I can do right now need prestige to be done. So yeah, I just got acked by the Pope. What we did unlock right now is a new government reform, and I would say I will get this one over here because it's basically free and gives crown power, legitimacy, and yeah, the aristocracy I don't really care about. So let's get that. Allowing us to get another one. Super nice. And here we'll get royal decree, crown power, more happy estates, and more centralization. Very good. Really getting the crown authority now. And the nobility are nearly at 25%. The problem is the burghers too. I might have given them too much. I did spot, I have some prestige, but yeah, I don't really see any law we can change. And to lift the excommunication, I need 25 church power, which I don't have, off because I'm excommunicated. Paradox. How am I supposed to get out of this? I have an awfully good time playing this game, not gonna lie, but you know, there's these 1-2 things that are not perfect yet. Like an HRE, where you need to bribe everyone to get anything through, no matter how much they like you. And would you look at that, an extra cabinet seat. Beautiful. France wins. That's kind of scary for me. Pass side. Yeah, that's gonna screw Bohemia even more. They're kind of alone with that. And I think the time has come while I take the last bits of Austrian land over here, just for, you know, clean borders, EB. Nothing personal. That's not gonna be fun. What? Castile attacking Genoa. Yeah, that's gonna be a little war. I'll make a few people angry here, but I gotta be honest, for cleaning up the borders, it is worth it. And I need my troops somewhere else, so don't care. Big battle over here, and we are winning. And it just dropped another 22k men here out of the Shadow Realm. I don't see how we win this. What are they actually going for? The city of Genoa. How? Why? Why do they go for Italy? Another big battle won. Very good. So sadly, but also finally, the emperor died, meaning that I'm not excommunicated anymore. I got re-elected, so that is beautiful. And if I don't get excommunicated now, I should have a good time, but the Pope still rivaled me, so I doubt it. And yeah, war won, at least I think, because it ended. And I got no real notification. It was a pretty spicy war, not easy, but with letting them drain themselves endlessly against us and having a better army quality, it's won. And in the meantime, I also integrated Tyrol, because I would really like to have at least some kind of Austrian borders. Salzburg also annexed, and yeah, we're really starting to look more and more like EU4 Austria. And to be fair, we are also starting to reach the EU4 start date, so I guess makes sense. Anyways, next subject, I can't integrate you yet. By the way, I also don't want to integrate everyone, but I would love to integrate the puppets I can actually hold control over. Would make sense is actually Moravia. They will take a super long time though. Oh, screw it. Let's integrate them now. So we have a good amount of prestige. Call me optimistic. I will try to do HRE stuff again, which doesn't work perfectly yet, as you might notice. But just because this is a sponsored video doesn't mean that I just show what works. Especially because I know how much the EU5 devs have already fixed. And you could say technically it does work, but it doesn't feel like it's intended to work like this. Because if I want to get anyone to vote on my side now, I have to manually click on them and bribe them. Perfect amount is a bit over 200. Makes them say yes and makes them vote for me. Once again, costs a lot of prestige, but I hope we should get that. And I did check before, I can do it with everyone but Brandenburg. Their development is still too low. This is still very stupid. And the last nation to bribe, Köln. Let's do it. Bringing all these people to my side, and this interface is a bit weird for that, so I recommend go to the policy itself and hover over here. Where you see the amount of votes, it is 700 and something. I hope everyone else together is less. Okay, yeah, it is still free voting. I gotta be honest. I wanted to do a lot of HRE stuff, but because I got excommunicated and also needing to bribe everyone, because you might have noticed I am very, very much on cap with imperial authority here. Yeah, I think currently the HRE is something you still can't interact with, which is sad because technically I love the HRE things. I gave a lot of feedback to the HRE and a lot has already changed in the last few weeks. This has become a lot better. I'm just sad to say that for my build, I don't know how the release build will be. This is not perfect, let's call it that. Also saying this was a bit of a blind playthrough because I didn't really have any time to play the patch before. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed I can't do HRE stuff. I would have really loved to, but I also hope you can forgive me with all of the current things that are going on, all the releases that are also now coming onto the channel, and with all of the editing I have to do. I am limited on time, very much. So I'll be using my parliament now to just get a CB on Prague, and with the help of Hungary, I should be easily able to just beat the Bohemians into submission. But before we actually attack them, Moravia is in a PU with Bohemia, so I will be breaking them from the PU, and I can put my own people on the throne, so I will just choose a random Austrian on the Union throne here, which makes Bohemia angry, but I don't care. I can go to war against Bohemia now without Moravia joining on their side. That is why I'm saving, because the game never warned me this would happen. And you can guess what happened when I just clicked to start the war. Anyways, now, my allies, let's go in and take Prague. Prague. And you Moravia stay on my side. First big battle going on. And yeah, we won. Very good. But yeah, we took the capital city. This war is basically won. I just need to siege a lot. And I don't want to sacrifice my entire army for that. But we did beat the main Bohemian army a few times. So I think we're fine. The war is over. I'll be taking a good chunk out of Bohemia, giving me a good amount of AE. But I gotta be honest, there's no nation there that I care about. What I do care about is weakening Bohemia because their economy is exploding. Looking at this chart, I'm gonna give Prague to my puppet. I will be coring these two provinces for myself, and I'm doing that for the sole reason that I want my puppet to be the leading nation of Czech people, which is still Bohemia, but after the next war I should be able to take enough land from them so my puppet becomes a dominant nation with Czech people, meaning I can ask them to improve relations with the culture, because you can only do that with the dominant nation that also has the culture, because I also have a lot of Czech people, but obviously I don't count. I can't improve relations with myself while also being Danubian Bavarian. You can also see how much I pushed down Bohemia. They were at 840, at 490 now. How the mighty have fallen. I mean, my puppet now is at 100, and I gotta say, with them owning this market over here now, that will probably explode. Like, playing tall in this game with the right land is super strong. So I can guarantee you this puppet will just explode in base tax. It is gonna be crazy. That's why I also don't want to feed them more land, because they're already hard to integrate now, because there's already a lot of cities and towns here, which you can see by this symbol over here showing a city and a square showing a town. I know, crazy. I don't really have cities. I just have Vienna. I'm just gonna say that Bohemia is like so ahead, but you know, it is what it is. If I had 60 prestige, I could do something with the HRE, but before that, it's not worth it. What is very much worth it is getting money, so you know what, I'm just gonna do that. Roman month, use the two abilities costing 20 prestige, but it is good money. I didn't want to do it because I did actually wanted to save prestige, and before that I didn't have prestige because I was excommunicated, but still, it is what it is. I'm sure they will fix it, by the way, especially if I complain just a bit more, but overall speaking, the game is so much fun. I'm willing to forgive that. I also got a lot of money right now, and you know what, I'm gonna use this to build a road to Innsbruck, and it's gonna build a road through other nations, so you know what, I'm just gonna go super expensive and just build it through the mountains. Beautiful. Big road projects. Also right now, got enough people in my dynasty that my court is 100% just people from my dynasty giving me really good support with my crown power, meaning I'm also getting a lot of bonuses now from that. That is actually super nice. And just to give you a little bit of an overview what I mean with the jewelry being really good for Austria, you see my other industries making decent money, and I scroll up and you see my Jewelers Guild. That's a lot of money, especially thanks to the gems and the silver we have. It is beautiful. And our trade is also making us good money. Funnily enough, jewelry is not number one. I mean, there's multiple trades for that, but selling iron to Lübeck is the most profitable trade. That is funny. So Moravia is annexed, allowing me to upgrade the culture from discriminated to accepted. Brings me 1 point over, but I'll take it. Should be fine. Which means I should immediately core all of this land. Yep, all green. And it should also give me good control over this land. Don't get confused. You actually inherit the control of the nation before when you integrate. So this will go down, but it still will be very good. The only harsh thing is through the mountains. That actually really is bad with Austria. I integrate my puppets mostly for the looks, and also because I want to have newer puppets, and the puppets here are super small. And if you have too many puppets, yeah, they kind of become unloyal. And the Age of Discovery has started, also unlocking hegemonies, and currently France is just claiming everything. The English didn't really do a good job, I guess. What I personally would love is a cultural hegemon, but for that I need 400 cultural influence, and currently we are at, yeah, that is not enough. So we need to become bigger, we need to build theaters, we need to build art academies, which I did already build. No, I want to hear no joke about that. But yeah, as just spot I can call Poland into a war. We'll be fighting against the Pope, which I don't like, but maybe I can isolate him from the ally. Oh, that is close. Very nice. That is also weird. Wait, the Pope spawned the new world? Okay, the Pope is a colonializer. Jokes aside, I've heard about this, the Pope being all colonists. I've just not seen it yet, which is super funny to me. I'm not gonna lie. And as it looks like, I should be able to get my favors up to 20 to break the alliance. So if I give him the gift now with a little bit more than 5 favors, Can I isolate them from Verona? Yes. Beautiful. Then we're way stronger now. Let's go in. Even better, a few of these are actually people in a coalition with me. 25k levies. That is crazy. Next puppet is integrated, even though we are currently in a big war. And I think we actually are nowadays Austria. I feel like there's two pimples here, like here and here, but there's like nothing in here, so I don't really care about this land. It's not worth a big war. But yeah, we look pretty good, and we're about to reach 1444. Can you believe it? And while this war is going on, and because I got some advisors free again, let me show you the power of integrating provinces to your culture, especially if they're accepted. So right now you see those two provinces being at not even 1%. And just remember a bit the current date at the moment, 1441, like the beginning. I'm gonna finish this war, and then we're gonna look at this again. It's gonna be higher. I'm a bit greedy, so I just puppeted Bologna, and it should make me a lot of money, by the way. I get so much money from my vassals, especially the Bohemian one. Beautiful. Anyways, let's start to end this war. I'm gonna peace you out for war operations and money, and I would say the time has come to finally take care of the main war target. I just checked, maybe I shouldn't vassalize them. Makes a few nations very angry. You know what? I'm just gonna get rid of the forts and come back later. Still a victory. Very beautiful, and goodbye. Yeah, my army is a bit bruised from this. This was a bigger war than I thought it would be. My standing army of a few thousand men is only this. And I have a big manpower pool, but in EU5 you basically have to go back to your own home nation or a friendly nation, but it takes a bit longer then to really regenerate your standing army, which is cool. I just never got the chance to do that. And yeah, my army recovered. Also, like 2 years passed. Let's check over. Yeah, 18% are now Austrian. Over here, yeah, basically the same. This goes super fast. Best of all, my control over here is still super high because this is nice and flat land. We can also embrace right now pike and shot, which allows me to go down over here and gives me some very, very beautiful and juicy army technologies. That is super nice. I gotta say, getting those early makes a big difference. And behind my back, the traitorous Hungarians have allied with Bohemia. Can't believe that. That is so sad. You know what? With them currently being busy in their own little conflict over here, I'm just gonna go in and don't care about that. So fast, alliances can shift. It is crazy. Old ruler died. We got a new emperor. A bit sad, but also, I mean, normally this would be good, but because I can't really use my imperial authority, because there's currently no real way to sway people without bribing them all, this feels a bit bad. So, a very long war later, and I can finally peace out Hungary. I mean, I could have pieced them out very early on, but I wanted provinces around Vienna, okay? And they're beautiful for control, so I'm gonna take those. I literally can just take them. Meaning Hungary's out of the war. Also meaning I only need to focus on Bohemia now. And they're still super strong, don't get me wrong. I control half of their nation. That doesn't make them weaker though, because they did just integrate Silesia. Also check this province over here, and it's 81% Austrian. That is pretty good. You know what? I'm gonna put you then on integrating over here, and you do the same. Beautiful. That's what I mean with systems that allow you to take as much as you want, because there's no real overextension. There's still aggressive expansion, but there's no real overextension. But if your land is not integrated, you get harsh penalties on that, and they will have high separatism. So yeah, we want this integrated fast. What is also a valid strategy, and I also did a bit in the beginning, is to release a lot of puppets and let them integrate. It's easier for me because I'm HRE Emperor and I get a very high diplo capacity. Might be harder if you're not Emperor. I'm just saying that. Still very valid strategy though. So, peace treaty time. Could actually use this as an opportunity to show you something. You can select every province of a state separately, or you just hold control left click or control right click to select an entire state or deselect an entire state. Little trick I just found out. I mean, it says it obviously, but how often do I read a tooltip? Not that often, you know. Welcome to ADHD Florius. Anyways, I want to take this for the sole reason that if I take more, people are going to be very angry. They already are very angry, but to be fair, I also took the Hungarian land before, and now I'm taking very highly developed Bohemian land. I do think this plus war operations is a pretty good peace treaty, and I should 100% annul some alliances too. Could even ask him to to revoke some cores. You know what? I'm gonna do all of that. That is super evil. They lose their cores, I gain land. This is evil. So, goodbye, Bohemia. As for my last counselor, yes, I keep calling them counselor, even though it's my cabinet. I don't know, I'm so CK3 brained, I guess. Let's send him over here to integrate that, and also let our army finally recover. Our puppet is also now the dominant nation with Czech people, barely. So what I'm gonna do with them now is to improve my cultural opinion with the Czech culture, which is very good timing because I did start integrating them. And you see, with the amount of cities they have, this takes forever. Cities are super expensive. This is, yeah. And they have a lot of cities in here, and they will probably even build some more because they're super rich. Like, let me show you how much they've grown just by this little bit. Yeah, a lot, okay? A lot. That is crazy. They're slowly getting to my development. And it's good to see they're asking me to improve our culture back. Yes. So we're very high setting with Czech now, which is beautiful, meaning accepting it should be a lot cheaper now. It's 1 now. It's still a bit expensive, but to be fair, it's not that bad. And we could nearly actually afford that. For some reason, I'm also currently the military hegemon. How? I guess I'll take it, because France is like everything else. I feel like I will never get culture hegemon. They have so much. 500. I feel like I'm at 200 right now. Yeah, 200. Yeah, I will never get that. The ability of the culture hegemon is super good though. I'm probably not going to be able to show it off this playthrough, but it allows you to simulate an entire area, which in its core means you get an ability for your counselor to culture convert, not a province, but an entire area. Bohemia is an area. Moravia is an area. All of Slovakia is an area. This is super helpful, especially with playthroughs like Byzantium, which is now officially gone. And actually, there's a bit left. But this is a super good ability. It allows you to core a lot of land super quick. And with that, I mean an actual core, not just integrated land. On that note, you know what? I'm gonna risk it. I'm just gonna accept. Check, which brings me... Actually, it doesn't even bring me over the limit. Yeah, this is beautiful. So we get all of this now as core land, not just integrated. Beautiful, meaning I have more control over this land now, meaning I can spread my beautiful, beautiful tax collectors into Bohemia. Might even find it some roads over here. As for the HRE, what I recommend for them is, if it doesn't change for the release patch, just use the HRE to extract stuff out of it. Because once you get the sways down here, you can get the parliament through every time. You just need to have 20 prestige. At some point, that's very achievable. Yeah, I can just every 5 years extract more and more out of the HRE to profit my own nation, which is a bit sad, but it is what it is. I'm also fine with a strong Austria that grows through conquest and at some point maybe even dissolves the HRE to create the Austrian Empire. This, I guess, would be the current way to play it. And also to show off my full court cost at the moment. When I have low legitimacy, I pay 174 ducats just to raise it. That's an enormous amount. That's more than what I pay for my buildings and my military at full, plus maybe even my stability spending together. It is crazy. I gotta say, in the first time ever, I have enough prestige to actually change something in the HRE. So why not actually do that for once? Electorate, dynastic preference, or the emperor. We'll need some loans. Yes, we can get printing press on the way. And now it's all about convincing our fellow electors to vote for what I want. We can actually also finally bribe Brandenburg. That is crazy. And yeah, that's everyone but one elector bribe, which is enough. But let's just say at this point, I'm not gonna risk it anymore. I had too many surprises with the HRE. So let's just bribe him too. And votes are through. We have, I think we should have enough. And yeah, finally got the first reform through. So yeah, on paper, this works. I'm still gonna say this though. I doubt this is meant to work like this, because I feel like this is way too hard. And that brings me back to the sentence that we have the most realistic HRE at the moment. Yes, but maybe not the most fun. I gotta definitely say, if I would have released a puppet over here, or actually 2 puppets over here, and integrated them one after another, it would have probably been faster, and would have also given me more income than me manually using my cabinet right now to integrate this land. I could have used them for different stuff, like making more people Austrian in Moravia, which so far has actually high success. There's only one state left with no real Austrians in it. I'm coming for you. One thing I do want to show in this playthrough, which I will probably end very soon, because this is day 4 of recording this, by the way, and I'm playing only speed 5. This is a very long game, and I just wanted to show off a lot, so this is a long video. Anyways, what I want to show now is under printing press, not just the max literacy being super good, but hiding down here the printer's shop. And why is the printer's shop so good? Because it turns a clergy building, an estate we can't really tax, to a burger building, an estate we tax a lot. So yeah, this is super good. So I'm gonna rush this down immediately, maybe even increase the book output input. More cultural influence, also super nice. Yeah, there's a lot of things here that I really need. Like an extra cabinet seat, super good. And better roads, yeah, also super nice. There's so much to get here, it is crazy. And you really have to choose. You can't research everything. Some things you just need to leave behind. It's just no time. Horrible for me, because I like to play 100%, so get everything done and then go to the next. You can't do this in this game. That's just not possible. Not with research. Also something showing right now in Vienna, there's a max amount of buildings you can build in a city, calculated by the status of the province, which in this case is city, and the development. There's other modifiers too, but those are the most important ones. And if you go higher than that, you get kinda negative modifiers. So I will chill building in Vienna right now. I'm at max marketplaces. I'm also really good with my jewelry skills, so yeah, I'm fine for now. Actually, might squeeze some more barracks in there. But except that, I should really go into the cities around it, because I did build those up as cities, which I maybe shouldn't have done, because I need the money for other stuff right now, but that doesn't matter, okay? I don't want to hear anything. Apparently, I'm the diplomatic hegemon now. Kind of useless, but I take it, because of my diplomatic reputation. I mean, that is true. I have a lot of diplomatic reputation. It's in the Austrian tech tree, so yeah, that is very true. And Poland and Hungary are losing to the Venetians. What? They have an alliance, right? Yeah, they're France, okay. Makes sense then. We also have the Kingdom of Great Britain now. I'm sad to see they change the red color of Great Britain, because the first time I formed it in an earlier patch, it was the highest saturated red you've ever seen in your life, and it burned your eyes. And I kind of loved it. It was base. Now it's just a normal England color. What I didn't talk about is basically the Shadow Kingdom from EU4 happening in the background with different Italian leagues. And here one league needs to get 200 strength. I gotta be honest, because I can't really do HRE stuff. I didn't do anything here. Count me as surprised when I saw that I'm the winning league. I didn't do anything. Yeah, Pope, you can come back in. It's fine. So, I have a bit of a money problem, and it could have to do that I forgot to put down my inflation mid-war, so I'm at very high inflation. So I'm not minting anymore. It's like one of the things you can do when you play just 5 speed and, you know, forget something. I already got it down quite a bit. That's sad to say, but true. And because I can't use minting right now to make money, I got through higher taxation with the parliament, so I'm getting that for at least a bit longer. By the way, if you didn't know, over here, when you click on your flag, you can see the effects on your nation. Not a part of the guide, right? Very cool. And yeah, I'm trying to build this as good as I can. It is going with mixed results. And trust me when I say this, I'm getting everything but the thing I want. Because what I need right now is balance the books, which reduces inflation. I'm getting everything in the parliament but that. What I can get right now is money from the HRE, so I'm gonna do that. Thank you very much, HRE. I also finally got the money to upgrade my army, so that is growing. Yeah, that's enormous. I think I have the biggest standing army in Europe now. What do the French have? Yeah, 7,000. I've double what the French have in standing army. Okay, my emperor died. Meaning that the HRE right now has no emperor because I'm at war with 2 of my electors, meaning they can't vote for me. Wait, what? They gave provinces to me in this war. I didn't want any. Oh no, what is my, you know, what is my... Oh, it's good. It's good. Okay, okay. I became emperor at the same time. There's a huge role in my nation now, so... those Styrians, I tell you. But I guess in the spirit of this being a half guide on how the game works, in a civil war, you just have to conquer your own provinces and immediately flip back to you. Even better, you just have to conquer the capital of the province and you will get the entire province back if there isn't a fort anywhere else. Plus, I get to keep my entire standing army, which made this a very obsolete civil war because I'm not raising any levies. I'm just using my professional military to gain full control back. And if you want to know what the capital of a region is, you can either look for this symbol over here, which is a star instead of a circle, or you look for the flag on the map, which is also an indicator of the capital of the state, region, whatever. I really don't know the new names. They changed everything in EU5. And they surrendered. Very good. If I would have lost that, the game wouldn't have been over. This is not Victoria 3. But I would have gotten random reforms from the uprising, so I'm not the big fan of that. We can pay back all of our loans though, meaning I can also finally invest into my city again. What I will do now is upgrade my printers shops in Vienna, or at least our scriptoriums to printer shops, and also my paper makers to paper shops. They will make us super rich. But yeah, I gotta say at this point, our little Austrian duchy starts to look pretty good. We are apparently great power level 1 in the world. I'm kind of not believing that, but I'll take it. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Don't forget, the game comes out very, very soon. I think like 2 days after this video. I must say, I can really recommend this game. It is super fun. Alone, this playthrough right here was like 15 hours and I played really, really quick. And we're just in 1473. Use my code if you want to. I get my nice 12% from that. And Paradox will also know you came from me, allowing me to do more cool integrations with Paradox. And we're kind of only playing Paradox games on this channel, so that would be very cool. Thank you guys. Anyways, as for my support supporters. Love you all. Thank you all for the support. I will be back with HOI 4 content right next week. No month-long breaks anymore, at least for a while. So see you soon and bye.